Hirose, Professor, K University, Japan.
Mr. President, thank you so much for this great opportunity. I'm Miyoko Hirose, a Japanese professor specializing in Azerbaijan and former USSR region. Last year, I wrote an article for the Azerbaijan Ministry of Foreign Affairs magazine, World Diplomacy, about how you and your father have had implemented great policy for IDPs. I sincerely respect your accomplishments, and I'm very honored to have this opportunity today. Now, Azerbaijan around Turkey is increasing its international influence, and I believe that the Zəngəzur corridor will become even more important as Azerbaijan's future increases its international and regional influence. And it seems to relate to the Middle Corridor project deeply. Regarding the opening Zəngəzur corridor, I understand that Armenia and Iran are against it, but what kind of outlook and policy does Azerbaijan have regarding the Zəngəzur corridor? In addition, Russia recently withdrew from a peacekeeping operation in Karabakh, but according to the 2020 peace agreement, the Russian FSB was supposed to maintain a peace when Zəngəzur corridor opened. What will happen in this regard? Furthermore, what will happen to the relationship between Azerbaijan and Russia in the future, centering on the Karabakh issue? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Several questions you asked. I will try to answer all of them. On Zəngəzur corridor, as you mentioned, Trilateral Declaration, which was signed on 10th November 2020, clearly reflected this. Yes, the word Zəngəzur corridor was not mentioned, but it was said that there must be a connection, transportation connection between the eastern part of Azerbaijan and Naxçıvan Autonomous Republic, and Russian border security forces must provide control. So that was signed by President Putin, Prime Minister Pashinyan, and myself. So now Armenia, for more than 3 years, is actually violating this provision. And again, they signed it themselves. And now they want to, how to say, get rid of that paragraph. But it is not possible. And what they do, they just block the possibility to build this land connection with Naxçıvan Autonomous Republic. And this behavior, of course, is very disappointing. How Trilateral Declaration was signed is a different story. What were the circumstances, also everybody knows, but there was a signature by Armenian Prime Minister, and it must be respected. So seeing that the process got stuck, we actually had to find another option, and we found it. And we started consultations with the Iranian side and agreed to make a bypass through Iranian territory, actually on the southern part of Aras River. We just need only 2 bridges for transportation and maybe 2 additional bridges for railroad. And by the way, the construction of the automotive bridges have started. There was even a groundbreaking ceremony there with the participation of high-ranking officials from Azerbaijan and Iran. What will be in the end? Armenia will lose. They want to become a crossroads. Yeah, they call it a crossroads of peace. But in order to become a crossroads of peace, first they have to agree with us. Because if Azerbaijan do not agree to that, it will be just a piece of paper or a statement. Without agreement with us it is absolutely useless. And unfortunately, they try to discuss it with different countries situated far, far away from the region. But when it comes to the point, they don't want to discuss it with us. And our position is very clear. The Trilateral Declaration must be respected. And land access from mainland Azerbaijan to Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic through Armenia must be provided with an international control and security mechanism. If they don't want now, due to some reasons, that it should be Russian border security, they should say it. But again, it is something which they sign themselves, and they must respect their signature. So it's clear that they will lose the opportunity to become a transit country. They've never been a transit country, as independent country, I mean, and they will never become, because all these speculations about so-called peace crossroads is absolutely not realistic without Azerbaijan. And if they think that someone will come and build a railroad from Iran to Armenia and Georgia, they need to find someone who will spend maybe $5–7 billion US for nobody knows which reason. While there is a land connection between Iran and Azerbaijan, and the north-south transportation corridor is being built, and there is a rail connection between Azerbaijan and Georgia. And so anyway, it is up to them how to plan their future. But with respect to our plans, as I said, construction have started. We next year plan to complete the construction of the railroad, which was dismantled by Armenians during the times of occupation, from Fizuli to Zengezur. It's almost done. And after that, along with the highway bridge, we plan to build a railroad bridge to Iran and then back to Nakhchivan. So that will allow us and other countries to use this road for transportation to Persian Gulf, because that will be another extension of north-south transportation route, because bypassing Armenia and coming to Nakhchivan, then extension is through Julfa to Iran, an Iranian railroad. And also from Nakhchivan, there is a plan which already was announced by Turkish government to build a railroad connection between Nakhchivan and Kars. So that will be also part of east-west transportation corridor. Today's capacity of the railroad we are building to Zengezur is around 5 million tons. But if we see more cargoes, it can be expanded. So Azerbaijan definitely will strengthen its position as a regional transportation center without having direct access to world ocean. But Armenia will remain just a deadlock as they are for more than 30 years. With respect to the Russian peacekeepers, the announcement has been made already by presidential administrations of Russia and Azerbaijan that they are leaving Karabakh region of Azerbaijan before the timetable. And that was a joint decision by the leaders of Russia and Azerbaijan. I can also inform you how actually we negotiated this issue. I think it would be interesting. I already a couple of times in my meetings with Azerbaijani journalists revealed that day of 9 November, when we actually were negotiating the Trilateral Declaration through President Putin, because we didn't have any contact with Armenian colleague. So there were several telephone conversations agreeing every item of Trilateral Declaration. So therefore it lasted from early in the morning until almost morning of the 10th November. That's why we always say that declaration was signed on 10th November because it was already, I think, 2 a.m. or even 2:30 a.m. in Baku. Item of Russian peacekeepers was presented, and Armenia's position was that there should be no time limit for them. In other words, they should stay there forever. We could not agree with that, and we insisted that there should be a time limit. And that was one of the most difficult parts where both sides could not agree. And for us, it was one of the most principal parts of declaration, and our position was that if we do not agree on that, there will be no declaration, and the war will continue. And at that time, our troops were on the outskirts of Khankendi. We de facto controlled so-called Lachin corridor, and the fate of 15,000 of Armenian troops, which were surrounded where we liberated Shusha, was absolutely clear for everyone. They would have either surrendered or even worse for them. So we said, okay, there'll be then no agreement, we continue. We will enter Khankendi within several hours. So Armenia had to agree. And now I think they understand that we were right. So 5 years term and then extension if neither side objects was actually the starting point of the withdrawal of troops. So what could have been the situation if we didn't have that timetable? We can only guess. But again, the decision to withdraw troops earlier was a decision adopted based on consultations between Azerbaijan and Russia. Azerbaijan always is committed to its international obligations, and our position was that if it is written November 2025, it must be November 2025. But at the same time, both sides, Russia and Azerbaijan, clearly understood that basically they can leave earlier. But again, that was a decision, a joint decision, and this decision, I think, only strengthened Russian-Azerbaijani relations. And as you know, yesterday I was in Russia, and that's why we rescheduled the time of our meeting. I returned at 2:30 a.m. this morning, so that's why I asked you to have meeting not in the morning. So I'm sure that this decision strengthened our relations. And also public perception or public appreciation of bilateral relations, because it demonstrates that when countries have normal channels of communication, when they respect each other, when they cooperate, when they don't do anything against each other, they can find agreement on the most sensitive issues. And this example is a clear demonstration of that. And yesterday, once again, we reconfirmed the strategic substance of relations between Russia and Azerbaijan. And this is in the benefit of our country, I'm sure, in the benefit of Russia, and in the benefit of the region.